The Scorpion King is probably the most difficult thing that we had to do on this movie. We wanted to create a truly memorable cinematic creature. You know, you've got this huge movie, there's all this stuff's going on, and somewhere at the end of the film, you've got to have the big payoff. Something's got to happen at the climax of the film that is bigger and better and more amazing than anything that has come before. In The Mummy Returns, that turns out to be a pretty tall order because there's a heck of a lot of stuff that happens before the climax, and a lot of it is gigantic. We really wanted to create something that had the magic and had a sense of amazement about it that was something that harked back to the great creature films that have proceeded through history, everything from King Kong, Jason and the Argonauts, and Clash of the Titans, and all these wonderful Harryhausen things. We didn't want to recreate Harryhausen. We wanted to create something that evoked the same response from an audience that Harryhausen did. We did that in the first film with the battle of Rick O'Connell against the 13 priest mummies. And in this film, for us, that moment was the reveal of the Scorpion King. This is where we always start with our three-dimensional characters, which is a sculpture. We also do a lot of flat artwork, but from the sculpture then is drawn the computer sculpture, which you see here. We then render that with shaded lighting so that we can sort of see how that looks compared to our original model. Then we paint onto it all of the different textures required to give it realism. This shows you that same computer graphics model being rotated in three-dimensional space. You can see it's quite a complex model with a number of appendages greater than usual for a human being, certainly, and maybe even for a scorpion. We also need to make sure that our model looks right in the environment in which it's intended, in this case the Scorpion King Cavern, which is lit with bright firelight and a lot of dark areas. So this is that same model you saw a moment ago, and now this time it's in the Scorpion King environment. One of the things that you have to do in a model like this is figure out a way for the animators to control such a complex beast in a way that looks realistic and natural. So we break things up into sections that can be controlled by something of a procedural method. The animators move the arms and legs and the upper body, the head nods, and all those sorts of things. And then a procedural system creates the musculature that matches into that animation so that the animator does not have to move each muscle individually. These rainbow patterns indicate to the animator how their controllers will affect the surface of the body. So when they move his arm and upper body, raise his shoulders, the muscles now follow along and do the right thing in a predictable way that is also realistic, and it gives us a real sense of the muscles under the skin. This is what the animators are looking at when they're animating. They have the face of the rock, and they have this upper body, and it's not quite as fully rendered as it will be in the final version, but it gives them a little bit more freedom because it moves more quickly and gives them a chance to make sure that all the nuances are correct before it goes into the final render. This is the background plate. As you can see, there's nothing in it. When we shot it, however, we also shot a version that had a guy on 9-foot tall stilts so that he could be as tall as the Scorpion King so that the cameraman knew what to aim for. And once the cameraman knew what to aim for, then we told the stilts guy to get out of the way and we shot it clean. So here's the final animation, and this was done, this particular version is straight out of the animation tool and just shows sort of what they would work with in this kind of thing, where he's animated to knock the door open. The door was opened on the day for exactly that reason. Planned ahead that he would knock that door that way, so we moved it, and then we finish it off by actually putting the character in right where we planned. Now this is a bit brighter than it is in the movie. We do a nice reveal here where you don't really see anything but the creature, and you don't really know what the face is until he hits the doorway here and the lights come up, and then you see, there he is, the Scorpion King. And for the first time you see this creature in all of his glory. And you have this amazing creature who looks like the rock,